Disclaimer, I will be nerding out this video. Waves is one of my favorite A24 films of all time, and I believe it isn't talked about enough, especially my favorite part of the film being Emily's side of the story, which is often looked over or misunderstood. The second half of Waves is one of the most beautiful tonal shifts in modern cinema. After the first half crashes into chaos, violence, and grief, part 2 opens like an exhale, gentle, quiet, and heartbreakingly still. The world hasn't healed, but it's breathing again. Director Trey Edward Schultz takes everything that was loud and claustrophobic in Tyler's story and turns it into something intimate, reflective, and forgiving. It's not about tragedy, it's about what comes after, and that's what makes it so peak. Emily, Tyler's sister, becomes the center of this new half, the emotional anchor of a family that's been torn apart. We shift from Tyler's hyperactive perspective to Emily's quiet one. The pacing slows, the colors soften, even the camera itself seems to sigh with relief. The aspect ratio, once tight and suffocating, widens as Emily begins to heal, like the world itself is opening back up for her. This is Schultz's way of saying there is still life after destruction. The camera doesn't chase anymore, it observes. Every shot of Emily feels like a prayer for stillness. The soundtrack in part 2 isn't just a collection of songs, it's a heartbeat. Frank Ocean, Radiohead, Blood Orange, Kendrick Lamar. The music fills the silence between words. In the first half, sound was chaos, heavy bass, intensity, adrenaline. Now it's therapy. Every note feels like it's holding Emily's pain and letting it breathe. When Godspeed plays, it doesn't feel like just a song. It feels like forgiveness made audible, a gentle whisper saying, "You can still be loved after everything." The music becomes a part of Emily's emotional vocabulary, what you can't say the soundtrack does for her. Visually, the film shifts from neon intensity to natural warmth. Water, which symbolizes drowning and loss, now represents cleansing and rebirth. Schultz uses the ocean, sunsets, and reflection to create visual poetry, showing that beauty doesn't erase pain, it coexists with it. Where part 1 was about control slipping away, part 2 is about learning to let go. The world's no longer overwhelming, it's open, fragile, and full of small mercies. It's as if the entire film is learning how to forgive itself, and Taylor Russell's performance is the soul of all this. She doesn't play Emily, she embodies her. Every expression, every pause, every tear feels real, almost documentary-like. Russell captures a grief that's quiet, internal, and profoundly human. She shows us the weight of surviving someone else's tragedy, how hard it is to love, trust again, and exist again. It's one of those performances that doesn't need words. Her eyes tell the story. She becomes the symbol of endurance, not the loud kind, but the fragile kind that just keeps going. When Emily meets Luke, it's not a love story. It's two broken people finding warmth in the dark. Luke carries his own pain, an abusive father who hurt him and his mother for years. But what's incredible is that he forgives him, even after everything. When Luke visits his dying father in the hospital, he breaks down crying, not out of nostalgia, but out of compassion. He weeps for a man who never knew how to properly love him. It's one of the most powerful acts of forgiveness in the film. Luke doesn't forgive because his father deserves it. He forgives because he needs to heal. That moment mirrors Emily's own struggle. How do you live with love when it's been attached to so much pain? The film's tragic brilliance lies in how forgiveness spreads, not instantly, but slowly, painfully. When Emily's father finally tells her, "Your brother isn't a monster," the weight of that line is enormous. Because Tyler killed someone, he destroyed lives, and yet he's still a son, he's still a brother, he's still human. That's the question Waves asks with brutal honesty. Is anyone really bad, or are we just people who've lost our way? The answer, whispered through every moment of part 2, is that redemption doesn't erase pain, it grows from it. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, it's surviving. By the end, Wave reaches a kind of peace, not perfect, not clean, but honest. Emily's story doesn't end in triumph, it ends in acceptance. The ocean that once symbolized death now carries light. Her family isn't whole, but it's still here. The storm didn't destroy them completely, The second half of Waves is about learning that love doesn't stop after tragedy. It changes form. It becomes quieter, sadder, but somehow more true. Trey Edward Schultz doesn't just make you watch healing, he makes you feel it. Through imagery, music, silence, he crafts a cinematic prayer for forgiveness. Waves Part 2 is proof that cinema can be both brutal and merciful, that beauty can grow out of destruction. It's a story about grace, about people who keep choosing love when every reason says not to. Emily, Luke, and their families remind us that forgiveness isn't weakness, it's courage. Because of the chaos, of the guilt, of the grief, comes grace. And that's what makes Waves, especially in its second half, truly peak.